Call tonight's meeting to order, and we'll start with roll call of the board. Charlotte Ford.
Here.
Bob Garrity.
Here.
Lisa Herm.
Here.
Aaron Louth.
Here.
Taryn Malavie-Bab.
Here.
Elizabeth McCabe.
Here.
John Reagan.
Here.
Brooke Webb.
Here.
We have our staff liaison, Rudy Supel.
Present.
And our representative from Gateway Engineers.
Here.
Mr. Haberman. I do not believe Commissioner Flynn is online. So we will start with citizens' comments. I don't believe we have any in the room. There are 2 attendees online. If you're online and would wish to make public comment, please raise your hand and we'll ask you to unmute and state your name and address. You'll have 5 minutes to speak on the record. See Dave Kraut and MK. All right. Last call for public comment. And we will proceed. Oh, sorry, I skipped the, would anyone like to make a motion to approve last month's meeting minutes?
I'll make a motion. I'll second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, on to the chairperson's report. I don't have a long report this month. I just want to give DPW kudos for the short time I was out there. The streets look great. Would remind folks that you do have 24 hours to clear your sidewalks. I don't know if the business districts have, is there a different
It's
requirement?
less, I think it's 2 or, is it 4?
I think it's 4.
Yeah, it's probably 4, yeah.
There were a couple on Beverly that may not have shoveled or cleared their sidewalk. I judge harshly just because my kids use a lot of these sidewalks and they're consistent offenders. It's kind of easy to get. But I think most folks did a really good job and just would speak to shoveling and putting a little salt down goes a long way. Like it gets worse, the packed down areas if you don't touch it. I think we all know that here, but I think we've made a lot of good recommendations this year and just want to close it out strongly and urge commission to approve some of those recommendations because we know how challenging the budget is. I think there's a couple that would help us make some substantial changes in the community. Any commissioners listening or watching on replay, approve or move our recommendations. Thank you, please and thank you. With that, I will go to the staff liaison report.
Yeah, not much to report this month either. It's been about leaf collection and now getting ready for snow removal. Doing our year-end reports though, for the manager. I did find that, we had discussed earlier in the year about stop bars and crosswalks. And in 2024, we repainted 202 crosswalks and 213 stop bars. And this year, 2025, we did 226 crosswalks and 325 stop bars. So we added over 100 stop bars throughout the community.
Awesome.
And it's and we try to pick and choose where they're most effective, where we get some of the complaints and the concerns and so forth, where people were kind of drifting through or running stop signs and kind of focus on those areas. So hope to do some more next year and move on from there.
Fantastic. I anecdotally have heard several people that really appreciate them. I think it does at least highlight it. Some, they're not perfect, but I think any reduction in speed through the stop signs and reduction of rolling through is great. So good job, Rudy. Yeah.
Sure. Sure. Well, thank our guys. I didn't do anything. I just write down the numbers, that's all. Yeah, so I keep track of the numbers, that's all.
All right. Mr. Haberman, anything from your end?
No, nothing new from me.
With that, I will go to the subcommittee reports, starting with capital budget.
Yeah, we didn't have a meeting, but I think some of us did hear the budget planning meeting. So, more to come on that in terms of, what we would like to also recommend, because it seems like there might still be some leftover or whatever, some
opportunities there.
Opportunities and, Steph's comment about recommendations. So we will be meeting in the new year.
Sounds good. All right, I will go to policy and street design and John, let you take the floor.
The Policy and Street Design Subcommittee met on last Monday. We discussed 9 recommendations for the zoning code and Saldo update, kind of like a checklist of
What's Saldo?
subdivision and land development ordinance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Yeah, so we discussed basically a wish list of 9 items of things, just like make sure these are in there. We did, I think, 5 from the last meeting, which is what my email earlier this week alluded to. But these 9 were focused on the minimum street design standards, where we identified a bunch of things that are like not like things that aren't regulated, where there's like a minimum but no maximum, a bunch of qualitative things that we perceive to be missing, as opposed to recommendations of changes to the actual values therein. We briefly discussed the concept of a mobility enhancement district. We discussed potential additional bicycle parking locations for Uptown, and we discussed a small segment that somewhat resembles a slip lane between Sunset Drive and Parkside Avenue. I believe I asked Rudy about this several months ago at this point, so we discussed that in more detail, and that was what the PowerPoint that I sent everyone was.
Yeah, I think as far as I understand it, the municipality has brought on somebody to rewrite or update the zoning code and subdivision and land development ordinance. I don't know where they are in the process or any of that, but I think our intent is to make some recommendations and share those with the municipal planner, Ian McMeans, and have them go from there. The Mobility Enhancement District was related to kind of the request from Beverly. This exists in the city of Pittsburgh. It is a kind of ordinance or recommendation across the board, but what the intent is, this has been focused on Lawrenceville, at least in the city of Pittsburgh. And they've done expanded enforcement, they've done some other components, and all of that expanded enforcement, those related costs / the revenue stays in Lawrenceville essentially. So, Beverly's not Lawrenceville, but it is kind of similar in a lot of ways with the parking challenges, the residential neighborhoods right there, the increased business. It's all good things for the most part, but there's a lack of bike parking and some other elements there that I think would help benefit, and enforcement is a thing that costs money. And so, if there's expanded enforcement, that necessitates staff. If that staff costs this much, it's a certain cost benefit. So I think my intent is to bring a little bit of a presentation on it in the new year, to give people a little bit more feedback, and maybe invite the business owners back to see if it's something they'd be interested in pursuing. It takes a little bit more, but rather than going with another study or a component of a study, this might be something actionable we can work together on. But we can follow up with the manager and others and see what we think, but that's the intent of what that is.
I did forget to mention too, I don't know if you noticed, since you live over that way, that we increased the restricted parking zones on the manager's order. So there were 1, 2, and 3 hour zones, restricted parking. We increased the 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 to 4. So each zone has 1 additional hour now within that area.
That's I noticed it did stick out to me, but I was like, oh, maybe it's always been this way, because I'm not always look, but I was like, oh, it's 2 here, it's 3 there.
Right, and our new shiny signs too. Well, we actually shifted the signs. We had to buy 4-hour signs because we didn't have those, but so everything was increased by 1 hour.
Okay.
And I haven't heard any negative comments back yet, so.
And that's in the Beverly
Yeah,
area?
that holds the whole parking shed area out to the outer restrictive limits of that area.
It'll be interesting with that new restaurant that just opened and it's very popular, how that's gonna impact all the parking over there as well.
I mean, it's certainly a factor. I think a lot of folks, you want to park right out in front. That's just human nature. You want to find that spot right out front so people will circle. But if you go a little bit farther, there's a lot of parking over there. It is challenging, but there's a lot of parking over there. And for those that walk, it's really easy to get to the new places. Fantastic.
Seth, I will say on that topic, we have been walking over to Beverly to do dot and line or whatever it is, because we just know parking, and it's a nice walk. But that crossing on Bower Hill at Ralston is just, if we could kind of work on something on that, because that is a major artery to connect, like where I am across Bower Hill and anybody else trying to come over.
And that's some of what the Mobility Enhancement District does. So Lawrenceville, every year, they're like, okay, here's how much we brought in, and here's where we want to target it. And they've done some sidewalk, crosswalk components. They've done some of those things because, I think the original intent was to look, a half mile, might be even a little far, but a half mile from Beverly and the Lincoln School District covers a lot of ground. And some of that intersection's included, the one at Edward and North Meadowcroft that is often parked up from people parking for pickleball. It would cover a lot of these areas where I think there's more, and I don't know how the business owners receive it, but as residents and school folks, seeing improvements coming from enhanced enforcement, I think would be a benefit, and from some of these components. So it takes people buying into it, but I think you can see things sooner and maybe not wait for like, okay, we have to bond it out or look for a grant, or all those things can work. But that one's rough. I waited for the bus there with the kids and I was like, I was actually recording how congested and whatnot it was, and I almost saw two cars T-boning each other. So that was
Is
on
that
film.
state or is that ours?
That's ours.
Municipal
Yeah.
street, both roads, yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't think of it, but would it increase visits over there if people had a safer way to cross Bower Hill? Like, I don't want to deal with the aggravation to go over to Scoops, it's too hard to find parking, let's just go somewhere else. But I'm like, well, if we can have a peaceful walk over there,
I know a lot of people don't walk their kids to school because they don't want to cross
that
there.
crossing
Yeah.
there. Yeah, so I don't know, it may not seem super obvious at first, but that crossing is a real thing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
At the commission meeting, I think the previous commission meeting, oh man, I'm blanking on his rank.
Lieutenant
Colonel
The deer, Lieutenant, yeah, Colonel.
Yeah, our resident, very dedicated commission meeting attendee, usually is complaining about the deer calling program, but this past commission meeting, it was about crossing Bower, it was actually about the Marlin Bower Hill
That's what I was
intersection.
thinking.
Yeah, I believe he almost got hit by a car jogging.
Okay.
Uh,
Maybe we can find something.
Probably not visiting the business district, but
Seth, you mentioned that there are consultants who are coming in to look at, update, and do some things with ordinances. Do you have any idea what their objectives are? And
I honestly do not. I have many, but I don't know what theirs are.
that's what I was thinking. I wonder if it's the same.
Yeah, I've not heard from them. I think, I don't know if we can make a request via you, Rudy, to find out just where that stands and how we can engage on planning to follow. I think Planning Commission has canceled their last couple, so I was hoping there'd be an update at one of their meetings, but I haven't seen them. So yeah, I mean, we are built out on paper, but I think there's opportunity for change in places that also selfishly transit-oriented development would be a real goal of mine. Adjacent to our station, Dormont Junction should be going out for a request for proposal in Dormont on top of the park and ride there, with a new development coming online hopefully in the next couple of years. But I don't know what their goals are.
Okay.
But yeah, we can.
I'd probably suggest sending Ian an email.
Sounds good.
A message, and
Yep.
just ask him how you can engage with him.
Sounds
Yeah,
good.
Ian's the lead on that project.
Anything else on policy and street design, John?
unless we wanted to add any of the business to the agenda, I mean, that was everything we discussed. That was the summary of the meeting.
I think, I don't know if folks had a chance to review those, but maybe packaging the zoning ones, and we could put that on the next agenda for find out from Ian how we want to engage, and then maybe share those recommendations if the board does so on the zoning side.
So, John, this sunset one, did that come from a request from a resident or just?
That effectively came from me.
Okay, that's fine.
He's a resident.
I live
yeah.
right there, so that's why
Yeah.
I'm curious.
We can go into that. I don't have any other, I was gonna kind of strike Edward from old business. There were folks that had engaged with us, but we haven't really heard from the residents, so, and I know, Rudy, you said you did a little investigation there, and that's kind of on, potentially Edward Avenue on the list for maybe some stop bars in the next
Yes.
cycle.
Yes.
So, with that, I'm happy to go to Sunset and Parkside.
Don, do you have thoughts on when the next subcommittee meeting might be?
I believe we had said there probably is not gonna be one this month, so
Busy month.
January,
Okay.
yeah, we're aiming for January.
Got it.
Can we access your PowerPoint, John, for Sunset and
It
Parkside?
should be, it's in the, it should be in the SharePoint. I don't remember exactly what folder it is. Probably, I believe it's in a folder with the, like a subcommittee folder.
Let's see, if I join as a panelist, can I?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, let me try that. Not in the monthly folder, John?
Not in the month, not in the main monthly folders,
Oh,
no. There's, I
policy.
believe it's up in the like one up in the hierarchy.
Yeah, I see it. Oh. It's not in the policy and design subcommittee.
I have it if you want.
Okay, yeah, if you can pull it up.
Yeah, I did send it by email, but
So-
maybe I forgot to upload it.
I have too many links.
If I forgot to upload it, then
I have
I
too many
also
tabs
forgot to
open.
upload it, so if I didn't upload it already, it'll be there later.
Screen sharing was stopped. Let me try again. That's it, right?
Yep.
You tell me when to go to the next slide and I'll go to it.
Can you put it in slideshow, Mike?
Try to if it doesn't yell at me.
Up at the top there.
I'm hating the color I chose for this screen.
It is a bit harsh, but it happens. It always looks different.
Away from me. There we go.
Yeah, I guess go ahead and advance to the next slide. Okay, so this is the area that we're talking about. It is one block west of the Castle Shannon Boulevard where Castle Shannon Boulevard turns into Scott Road.
This is Birch is tied right into Scott, and then Sunset Drive technically swings down to Scott too,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of obscured by the trees, but there's a main intersection up at the top, and then there's this little slip lane thing down.
At one
Is
point.
that where Mike? Yeah. Right there, and it's kind of odd. It's like a lot of the mapping apps don't recognize it. I don't know. It's kind of its own street, kind of part of this intersection. I don't know what I would call it. A slip lane. I asked Rudy several months ago if this was supposed to be one way or two way because I had experienced like I'm going up and then a car is flying down. It's like, wait, I thought this was one way, but no, Rudy corrected me. It is two way. Although since the subcommittee meeting, I also saw some people driving around the long way as if it were one way. So I'm not the only person who looked at it and said, this looks like it's one way.
Like
So
a
they-
roundabout?
They come up Parkside and go loop around
Yes,
that way?
yes. Next slide, please. Okay, so at the narrowest point, this little slip lane thing is 18 foot 3 inches wide, which is, it's on a curve, so that is significantly narrower than the surrounding streets, relatively speaking, which are like 24 and 28 feet wide. As you can see, there are a bunch of tire marks showing cars going just straight down the middle, as if it were one way.
It's
Next,
very steep too, that's
it is
it's hard to
very steep.
picture it, but it's a steep, yeah.
I tried to eyeball the theoretical stopping distance of a car, and I don't have like great data on the grade, but it's steep, yeah.
And that's Vivian, by the way.
Oh.
And the little girl.
That's my daughter.
Oh, that's your daughter?
That's my daughter. I
Oh.
forgot that I didn't,
I
I thought I cropped her out, but maybe not.
I thought it was the girl across the street.
No.
Looks just like her. Oh.
I moved the cursor over so no one can see.
My camera probably didn't have that good resolution anyway. So this is the view of, this is the theoretical view of a car approaching the intersection from the uphill side. It's taken at a height of 42 inches, which is basically supposed to simulate a compact car, I believe, based on AASHTO criteria. So yeah, if you're not in like a high-up SUV, that is your view of the other street. So basically, you don't see anything coming up that street until you are turning onto it. Next slide, please. It's very narrow. 2 passenger cars, could squeeze past each other, but it will be a squeeze. You're probably talking like 10 miles, maybe 10 miles an hour if they are tiny cars. SUVs, they're inching past each other. Next slide, please. And if it's a truck, then they have to take turns. I didn't see any crash history so I looked at the past 20 years of crash data, actually. I didn't see anything. Next slide, please. Which is important because usually if something is, you don't just change things based on vibes. Usually you react to crashes. But I did notice that a lot of the mapping apps, I think there's a lot of the mapping apps don't know it exists. Some don't, or some don't know it exists. Some treat it as one way, and a lot of residents are self-policing and treating it as one way, like me and the people I saw last week. Next slide, please.
What are the red arrows?
The red arrows are just directional. Those I put those are I think Google Maps and maybe MapQuest directions, and that's just which direction. So MapQuest doesn't know it exists at all.
Mm-hmm.
Google Maps knows it exists, but it treats it as one way.
So you did a map going in that direction, counterclockwise, and then one clockwise, and they both avoided the street that they don't really know is there?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So I said some drivers are using, the drivers who are going down the segment are often just going right down the middle. Some drivers are using it only in one direction. I don't know that it's necessarily a good idea to tell. I said that the other intersection doesn't have the main intersection doesn't have great visibility either, so theoretically, you could potentially cause problems by just directing the vehicle somewhere else, but I don't know if that's the case because I don't know how many vehicles are actually using this. You still need, it is narrow, so you can't, if we wanted to narrow this eventually, because it's wide for one way, narrow for two way, you would need to leave room for a truck. This intersection lacks a lot of ADA ramps. These are just a bunch of random thoughts I had. If you narrowed it, you could potentially have room for a bike lane or something, or just more grass. But no, those are literally random thoughts.
The sidewalk,
That's why they're so sporadic.
the sidewalk continue there, or is
The
it
sidewalk
obscured by
keeps-
vegetation?
It's all the way around.
The sidewalk continues, yeah.
It's all the way.
It's just but there are no curb cuts if you want to
Cross
the
anyway.
street. Okay, and I think it's just,
Sorry.
okay, yeah. Thank you, I did want advance. So I guess I have two proposals regarding this, that we should, just ASAP canonize the one-way nature of the street. Install a one-way sign or something.
John, which way? Going up the hill?
I would say
Like to turn right onto Parkside or the opposite?
it both feels more natural to me and, well, at the main intersection, theoretically, right-turning vehicles, I believe, would have more trouble, And as you saw, the hill is steep, so left turning vehicles would have more trouble braking on the hill. My instinct is uphill, but
One way.
my instinct is uphill, but I don't know, we don't need to make that part of our recommendation if we can rely on the commission to have gateway choose perhaps.
Why don't we just close it?
I think uphill as well. Once you turn, if you turn left and come down the hill, by the time you get to the point where you have to merge back on, you're basically facing this way and you have to look all the way back to see if there's anybody coming down Sunset.
I would say we don't if we really wanted to expand that little park, maybe, if there were like a compelling case for it, but it's like, it does help right turning vehicles avoid that.
It's a tough right
Awkward turn
turn
at the
from
top.
Sunset on, yeah.
Like
No.
I said, I mentioned the fire, you need to like make sure the fire truck can squeeze through. Well, if the fire truck can't make that, then how's the fire truck gonna make it up on that like hairpin at the top?
Yeah. I think a one-way uphill makes a lot of sense. It wasn't in the, it wasn't in the plat plan, the island in 1923,
I'm wondering if they cut it.
but it was there in 1939, but it was much different. It was like a straight cut across.
Yeah, so it was probably a whole, like, it probably went all the way out to the corner and then they just cut through.
That's what it looks like.
It shows up in very, very old photos.
Yeah, it's
So
back in the 1939 satellite, it's, or whatever, not satellite. The aliens, yeah, the aliens provided that one. It's there. But it's different than.
And I have to say that whole intersection is a little crazy, because I think it's 5 ways, I believe.
There's
Birch,
a,
Sunset.
well, yeah, and
Parkside.
there's like a stop on Parkside, but Sunset doesn't have a stop sign.
And the only
it's
2
just-
stop signs, I think, are Parkside
Birch,
and Birch.
side of Parkside,
But
yeah.
people
Yeah.
just come,
So that's not what you're saying, it's a solution, but that's also a
Yeah,
little concerning.
As you saw by my one bullet point on the random thoughts slide, I started to realize it's like, wait, there might be a lot of stuff wrong with these surrounding streets. This might be, and if like maybe if we can ever install curb cuts there, that should be part of a bigger project that does something.
I've always been curious why Sunset doesn't have it. I know there's slope there, but for like,
Yeah, me too.
just because, why Sunset doesn't have a stop sign coming to Parkside?
So there are a lot of, so I live, so right to the right.
Mhm.
So there's a lot of accidents there, it seems.
I mean,
I don't think sight distances are great either. If you come out on Parkside to Sunset and you try to make a left, that's a little difficult there. I would say it's probably easier to come down off of that little radius. And you kind of have visibility there too. You're looking down over the top of the park, so you can see if a car's coming up the hill on Sunset and kind of use common sense and kind of yield to, whoever gets there first, kind of has the right of way. That's how I typically go through there. If I'm coming up Sunset and I see somebody coming down through there, I would stop and wave them through. If I want to make that right. If you're going straight, then they kind of stop there.
It's a little
Well,
hairier as
I
people
took
that
the
cross.
visibility picture, so that is your view. So if you wanted to make it some sort of yield street, you would need to, like that goes back to like relying on local knowledge of how to
and
deal
that's-
with the
I
weird
think that's
kinky
what it comes down
infrastructure.
to, yeah. Because your speeds probably aren't terribly high there. I mean, you're going up a grade there, you're going around a little bit of a turn. Same way coming up, you're anticipating a stop anyway for the stop sign or making a left turn there, so. You still have to watch the traffic's not coming straight on in the opposite lane. If you're coming on Parkside approaching Sunset, you have to make sure nobody's coming across the intersection or making a right up off of Birch, so.
That's the one, like
The
people
Birch is
cross
the
Birch.
weird one, yeah, because you're coming up the hill and you're looking in too many directions
Right,
at once.
yeah, I do that every day.
Yeah, I mean, I've made that left turn and I know that, yeah, it's not ideal either. So, but so me and other people are making that left turn because we think this is worse. So maybe this idea I had of like, oh, here's a neat little quick thing we could do, maybe something more holistic will need to be done instead.
Yeah, maybe not on a quick thing, but is this a potential for a roundabout?
Oh.
I
Sore subject.
think the topography is a little
Yeah.
challenging.
Yeah, the grades are pretty severe there to open that up.
Especially with it being on a grade like
I
that.
mean, unless you cut the unless you close that slip lane and cut the island back, but you do have some good grade coming up.
And you get like small buses or, you know, for picking up kids in the neighborhood and things like that,
Yeah,
try
they're-
to make some of those turns there. Makes it a little more difficult for them. At those sharp angles.
Yeah, I do like the idea of making it a one-way.
I think about too, the children, because from that neighborhood, if you go to Mellon, Washington, you're coming through there, you know, well, maybe that, not elementary, but, that would be how, but for middle schoolers from Sunset Hills,
Mostly
they're
it's
all
Mellon.
going there, and
Yeah,
if they're
so
coming
It's the
home,
main access
it'd be
point.
nice
Yeah.
not have the street at all and just make it a bigger park, and then they have like a little landing zone, like Frogger, like, okay, where do I go next? I don't know, but.
Can I make a suggestion that the board just makes a recommendation to the manager to have the engineer look at it
Yep.
and maybe make recommendations?
Yep.
And give the engineer an opportunity to go out on the field and look at the intersection.
That sounds good.
Are we including the neighboring intersection?
I mean, if you're looking at it, you might as well
The whole
see,
general
look at
area.
opportunities for change. I think you're already going out. It doesn't
Yeah.
take much to take a look at all of them. Because even that radius coming off Parkside from onto Sunset is a big one. And some of these, we used to run buses in some of these. And that's why, like, some of these funky radiuses exist, because probably PRT and Port Authority at the time, Pat, probably at that time, it's like, we need to turn the bus. And this is certainly one of those that I bet was.
And like you said, you gotta get a fire truck in there potentially too, you know, or an ambulance and
Yep.
larger vehicles, Amazon vans, things like that.
Well, and there is an ambulance right at the bottom of that hill,
Birds eye.
so
Right.
they come up that hill quite frequently.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, cutting through
That
Sunset Hills,
service, yeah.
yeah, that's a main.
I'd like to make a motion for the manager to recommend the engineer evaluate the area around Pinecone Park, specifically Parkside, Sunset, Birch Avenues, and Sunset Drive for potential solutions, interim and long-term. Would anyone like to second that?
I'll second that.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, motion passes. I don't have anything else under new business. I think,
One thing,
go ahead.
I think Mikey did download for us the petition that a resident left last month. We were in the other room and a gentleman spoke about, actually, I think it was Bower Hill and,
It was Marlin and,
Marlin.
was it Marlin and Beverly?
was it
I
Marlin?
think it was
Beverly?
Marlon Beverly, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, I didn't quite have a chance to look at that, but I do recall that you.
Did I put it up there?
Yeah, because he
Okay.
left the folder
Yeah,
and then you must have picked it up.
I did.
Yeah,
Okay, but I don't know if I don't remember if I actually put it in your folder or not.
think
I
you
think you
told us that
emailed it to us or you put it somewhere, but yeah, I
Yeah,
think
okay.
that was one, it's been quiet on the active transportation plan front, so I'll follow up with Ian about the zoning update and active transportation plan, just to, I'm on the steering committee, or I'm on some committee for the active transportation plan, but it's been very quiet since the fall, so I don't know what our next input is, but I wanted to be sure they had that information on that one.
yeah, I think Mickey put it out there, I'm
Yep.
pretty sure. But, you know, when things are petitions, then we should probably,
Do some action.
you know, just talk about it at least, but
Yeah.
my thoughts.
I'll add that on the agenda next month, Charlotte.
Cool. Yeah, I think that's why, I think it was Marlin and Beverly, but that does go out to Bower Hill too, so that, I
Yeah,
think.
it's all kind of in
Yep.
the
Yeah.
same vicinity
Same
there.
thing.
Yeah, some of the issues that are happening there are related to just people moving between Bower Hill and the neighborhoods. Anything else?
I think this kind of touches on your chairperson's report, but we very briefly discussed this at the policy meeting, that do we want to ask the manager, ask the commission for a like list of proposals from us that are like still under consideration, like still, items that are still under consideration, items that are like dead, so like this was bad and no, and if so, maybe we get some feedback as to
Why? Yeah.
as to why, so we can tailor future proposals to be more viable.
Yep.
And also just like that would maybe let us know if there was anything that just fell off the radar completely and that they forgot about.
That's a good point, John. So how do we know? Like,
Yeah,
we're
because
just kind of
like
in
AI
limbo.
do query recommendations and all of her excellent minutes, like a fancy tool.
I mean,
I don't know.
we put them all in our annual report, I believe, things we made, movement on. We can just look back to that.
But if we made a recommendation, it would be in the minutes, right? I
Yes,
think.
yes.
Yeah, so.
I just don't know what standard protocol is. Like, do they say, we've reviewed this and it's not going to be, you know, like, we're not taking
Right,
action
if
on
it even
it?
made it there, I don't know.
Yeah. So it's
It
hard.
does. We provide that to the manager at the end of the meeting, and then the manager.
I meant to the commission,
To
oh,
the
to,
commission,
So
yeah.
it doesn't necessarily go to
Beyond
the
that,
commission.
yeah, it's kind of a one-way street.
I see.
Like we were talking about it specifically in the context of the neighborhood traffic management program, like that was, last year that was recommended to be discontinued, and alongside the street design policy. But yeah, it's like, so, yeah, should we? That is a very big part of what this board has been doing, so should we be behaving as if it might go away, or is it, or no? Like, it seemed, we made that recommendation a while ago, and
I'm just pulling up
that's
the,
all, yeah.
it has consistently been number 2 on the future discussion session topic,
The street
design policy.
design policy thing with the neighborhood traffic was those packaged together?
Mhm.
Okay, then the entire premise of what I just said doesn't make sense, so.
Yeah,
That's the one
but it's
thing we
been-
actually know about.
But it's been on the future
been on the
discussion
future.
sessions for several sessions. And then there is active transportation plan update is number 4 in the top list, and zoning and SAUDA update. So the discussion sessions are sessions we can listen to, but not, the public cannot comment in those sessions. But it is where there's more like discussion amongst the commission and from presentations from staff and others, consultants. So it would just be great to be alerted to when it's number 1 or on the discussion agenda. So, but yeah, I think we can make some sort of follow-up.
Because I think just last month, Beth, you recommended the Ella discussion, because that was the big fancy presentation with more residents or email,
Relay
like
came, yeah.
it's kind of become a go zone. And I thought you said something about bars there, but yeah, I don't, to John's point, did we make a recommend, or did we just sort of talk about that? Yeah.
I don't know if we made a formal recommendation.
think we did.
I just was in support of trying paint and poles just in the
Right.
short term.
Yeah.
Or being creative in solutions for that area,
Yeah.
rather than just looking at sidewalks, which are way more complex and
Right.
expensive.
Take
That was
too
my
long.
recommendation, but
That's
I
right.
don't think we said specifically.
To take something further.
Right.
I don't, yeah. Okay.
We definitely made a recommendation.
I thought we did.
Yeah, it's in my notes and it's in the minutes that we just approved.
Okay, all right. Okay, good point. So to what end would you want to see a start and a finish, John, though, like to kind of just,
I mean, I kind of just want a ledger just to make sure, they haven't forgot about anything.
Right, I see.
I can ask the manager how he wants to handle that. I mean, because we report everything to the manager, and then the manager reports to the commission. Then they have their own conversations, which I'm not privy to, so. I can ask him how he would like to feedback to the board on
On the
status. Yeah,
recommendation.
status.
So
Status
anything that goes up to the
recommendations.
manager,
They're all there. I mean,
Yeah.
everything that you guys vote on is passed on to the manager before the upcoming meeting, typically within a couple days.
Right, we would just like to understand like how we can either view it or understand like what action, if anything, occurred.
Yeah,
I believe one of the commissioners had mentioned that, like, I don't remember if it was talking about our board or just like boards in general, that they had received recommendations that were illegal. So like if that was any of our recommendations, we would want to hear about that and learn from it.
Definitely.
So, any recommendations that are like potentially still on the table and just backlog, any that were explicitly like the commission said, no, we don't want that. And just to make sure that they're actually tracked it and it didn't just get lost. And am I missing anything?
Well, and to your point, like the street design / neighborhood traffic calming policy, that's what people are directed to come here to kind of bring those forward. I think we recommended a review of that because it seemed necessary to make some changes. And if we're kind of caught in this purgatory of change or lack of change, because that drives budget, it drives a lot of things. So it's hard to advocate or let people know these things are going to move forward. So I think that's an important one. Anything else?
Okay. I mean, do we need to
And
make?
I'm just curious about the process for citizens who come here, make some suggestions, and then we do something with it, and we don't know what the outcome is. How do the citizens know what's happening?
I think they've occasionally come back here and we've had like when Gateway or others have brought solutions back, we've either recommended that go forward or when we've just looked at the data and not moved anything forward because the current policy is kind of limited in that sense. So but I don't think anyone has a good feel
Sounds
about
ambiguous,
like,
that's-
it's like, are they wasting their time by them coming here and are we wasting ours?
Well, when there's an actual petition, don't they get a formal, do they get anything back on the petitions that they put through it for?
I don't think so.
that's just part of the process, that's all.
No. We did-
Creating a petition as part of the process?
Well, it's I think it's a
Traffic
requirement, for the neighborhood traffic policy.
So it's logged that the petition was received, but there's really, nothing.
We scan it, when we make the manager aware of that, so.
It's a bit of a black hole of efforts, just we're an advisory board told to make recommendations, and we don't know what ever happens to recommendations. So it's almost like we need a help ticket number and like some tracking on.
I mean, I think Commissioner Flynn was getting to that sense a little bit with some of it, like, hey, it was rejected for X, or it was tabled, or it's now on the list of, because I think it lets you at least know, and then subsequent to that, it was, well, if it was rejected for budget, or if it was rejected for something, if we had that other policy, the Citizen Street Improvement Policy, they could still be like, well, we want to do it ourselves and go through another process, but
I'm curious about that one as well.
it's not been on the agenda list.
Can I just ask one other question, Rudy? Anything that we recommend that goes to the manager, does it always go to commission, or does he sometimes just decide?
Yeah, I think he provides that to the commission, that's why
So
he wants,
everything goes to the
breakdown.
commission?
Well,
Okay.
when you guys make a recommendation and vote on it, then we pass that on, Mickey fills out a form that we have online, and it goes directly to the manager, and then the manager forwards that, he has the conversation with the commission, but we don't.
Right,
So
okay.
we're just we're the conduit between you guys and municipal manager. So I made a note to myself, ask the manager how the board can get feedback on the status of previous recommendations.
Great.
I'll ask him
Yeah.
that and I'll report back next month.
That sounds good.
Thank you.
Next year.
We only get one time,
I know,
we only get a small window to make that one, so.
Let you know next year.
Appreciate that. All right, with that, our next meeting is in the new year, January 6th, 2026, at 6 p.m. And I would make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye. We are adjourned.